Isn't this like the funniest sticker ever? Alright, so it's not very often that we see like a factory Honda pretty much max out the stock injector, but on this particular one, we tuned it like a week or so ago and the 310 cc's were not adequate. Ooh, hey, take a gander. He's got all the JDM bumpers on there, looks really nice. Anyway, so we're back at it again for day 2, and this time he put some, are they RDX injectors?
Yeah.
I think last time at like 7,000 and change, we're at almost 100% duty cycle. So this time, you know, that should give us some breathing room to get like up in the RPM and actually see some horsepower. It's not very often that I like doing all motor cars for the street because I feel like it's just not fast enough. But this one has like a ton of torque and actually feels crazy responsive. And it feels kind of like a driver's car, like something that you might, I don't know, take on some turns or, you know, you just, yeah, it's the torque, right? The torque on demand, like on your foot, feels almost muscle car-ish, but in an import body. So anyway, I guess we'll see how we do with this, see if we can make some numbers. Okay, first pull was 180, yeah, 186. It was super rich. Obviously, we're trying to recalibrate for the big injectors. The next pull was 190.
Yeah.
And then this pull is 194. Torque isn't changing a whole lot. It's basically we're just like getting back to where we were after rescaling the injectors, and then hoping to see over that magical 200 number, because I don't know, all motor 200 is pretty respectable, I would say. So let's see if we can get that done in the next like couple pulls. We're done making our final pull, and we got pretty close. We got 197.7 horsepower, super close, and that's pretty good for like a really obviously like rainy kind of subpar dyno day, but we're happy. The car feels super strong, so should be pretty fun to drive around. Load Panda's car up and then take it to the storage unit for a little while. Yeah, that's perfect. Hey guys, okay, so we're gonna be working on Panda Z for like a couple of months, and towards the end of the year we're gonna put the motor and all the race stuff back into his other car. So in the meantime, I'm gonna use my big huge race trailer for storage. So I had to get this thing out today really quick so I could take it over there. But time for Panda Hatch anyway, to take a sleepy break for a little while, I guess. And then we're gonna get back to it a little bit later. All right. What I do all day. Well, I guess you kind of know at this point. Like, I do a lot of exhaust and fabrication, and I build a lot of things, and then I basically dyno tune for the rest of the time. Those are kind of the two things I like to do the most. But every once in a while, I feel like challenging myself to something that's difficult, and I'll take a job like this just to make sure my skills are still sharp on wiring. This is crazy, but this poor Honda Civic, the guy's had it for like 13 years, he's put a ton of money into it, and he accidentally hooked up like the power to the negative, or negative to the power or something, sent current through the chassis harness and fried something that causes it to like blow the fuse like almost immediately all the time. So he's got the dash out. Now the funny thing about this is he took it to like 3 or 4 different repair shops, and they basically laughed him out of the shop like, this is ridiculous, nobody's gonna work on it, throw this car away. But as you can tell, I mean, it's a little dated, but it's got some big brakes, it's got some body styling stuff that was cool like 10 or 12 years ago, and the guy likes it. So like, you know, who are we to tell him what project to throw away and what project to keep? So anyway, check this out. I'll show you how far he's dug into this car to get it figured out, and then I get to basically test every wire until I find where the problem is. So check this out, I'll show you really quick. Let's hope that we can fix this thing. Every day. This is kind of looking like an intercooler, except you notice there's no pipe out the other side. A while back they used to make kits that were actually like a front mount intake system. So normally there'd be like a paper filter that went across here, and then this pipe would go all the way around up into your intake. And if you notice this little piece here, this is to prevent hydrolocking, like, because this piece was so far down, and it's possible you could hit a puddle and splash a bunch of water in there and it would suck right into the engine and cause all kinds of engine problems. They put that little separator right there, so if water did go up there, it would not be able to go into the intake. It would stop at that point. Kind of cool, kind of cheesy too a little bit, but like, it's kind of fun. This is sort of like a time machine. Like, they don't make cars like this anymore. I mean, people used to, if you notice on the inside, the molded in stereo into the door panels, and there's a ton of work, like a ton. It's just dated. It's not like really what we do anymore. But either way, let's see if we can sort this thing out and get this guy back on the road. Okay, so sometimes these wiring problems end up being like a nightmare, and then sometimes you find them and they're not doing too bad. It took me like an hour or so, but I was able to figure out the problem, and then after that it was just a matter of like fixing a few wires and rerunning the ground, and I got it all sorted out. And then now much better running car. I think Reggie will be happy with this one. Hey Yari.
Are you really taping this right now?
Is this what being a responsible adult looks like? When you use your money to buy like an axle and a wheel bearing and what else, a hub, and you replace important things so that wheels don't get wobbly, and all super safe so that way, you know, no bad things happen.
Yeah. It's so humid in here right now.
Hey, we have fans for that.
Probably turn one on.
Okay, we'll turn on a fan. But look, this guy took it all apart by himself. He's getting really good at it at this point with all the suspension related issues we had on the last car. This time we are doing it right. So we took things apart. We were replacing anything that looked questionable, but obviously wheel bearings, you know, they just kind of suck to do. I'm gonna go grab my master wheel bearing press kit and help you press that apart here in a second. But yeah, I'm proud of you, Yari, being all responsible and whatnot.
Perfect. This is Jose, and as you guys can see, it's an 88 Silvia. Right-hand drive. So today, Jose is gonna bring his what motor's in there?
C18 DT.
Okay, there we go. So we are about to put it on the dyno right now, as you guys can see, and we're gonna see how much horsepower it makes. But it's a very pretty car. Very nice engine. Is this from Japan, Jose?
This is imported from Japan by some guys called Japanese Classics LLC out in Virginia.
And you would say everything's stock on it?
Just about stock, other than the intake and the cold air pipe. Other than that, basically stock, yeah.
How much horsepower do you think you're pushing?
Ooh, I think we're gonna be pushing about 145 to the wheels. That's gonna be my assumption, but we're about to find out right now.
He just went with the safe guess. I'm just gonna let you know that right now.
Do you know?
Anyways,
Do you know how much boost it's making?
how much?
I think it's stock. I was sitting on stock boost. I'm not too sure though. I think it's, yeah.
How much horsepower do you think it's gonna make?
Me?
Yeah.
I think I make 170 or 180 on stock boost. I would have to guess that it's at least making 70 or like 7 or 8 pounds of boost. So whatever that ends up making in a 1.8 liter. So these are pretty good. These are pretty good factory. The turbo's not quite as big as the newer SR20 stuff, but it's similar to the first generation SR20. So we'll see. This is kind of like the forgotten one, the CA18.
The stepchild.
Bro, you're on the wrong side.
Oh man.
It's just still so weird.
It feels even weirder to sit in the damn passenger seat, honestly. You just feel awkward.
Like this is usually, I'd usually be getting in right here just to drive. It's just so
It
strange.
just makes you feel like you want to grab the steering wheel when you're on that seat.
Oh my goodness. $154 torque and 161 horsepower. Not too bad for our first pull. Is it weird sitting on this side?
No, I actually feel comfortable. That's how they do it in my parents' home country.
Really?
Jamaica. Hit the mountains on the right side. That'd be cool.
They drive on that side in Jamaica? That's pretty cool.
But they have both cars, but just all of them drive on the opposite side.
Alright, fire this thing up. Let's make another dyno.
RPM in this car without having to worry.
Really?
Well, y'all were hitting it, right?
Well, we always do that on the dyno.
Well,
Rev it till it breaks.
rev it till it breaks.
Right.
Yeah. And then just replace them, right?
And then just replace it with
the
something.
better parts?
Those better parts.
Yes, sir. All right, Jared.
Right on, man. I'll catch you later.
Yes, sir.
Well, that was pretty good. Got to see what a Japanese CA18 motor makes. Probably making 6 or 7 pounds. Makes 160 horsepower. Not too bad considering obviously that ECU is calibrated and dynoed for Japan. And we're, not in Japan anymore. So, oh man, that pretty much concludes this week. But, we got some stuff for you next week. So, Panda's back in town and we're starting on the 370Z. So we'll see how that goes. Alright guys, I'll catch you later. See you next time. Next time on Gearheads.